presentation of two topics which are both interrelated. First topic is a theory and the second topic is derived from that theory. The Pure Theory of Public Expenditure by Paul A. Samuelson. Now before I go into the theory, I'll go back to the concept of microeconomics, the revealed preference theory. In revealed preference theory, we learned that a consumer will choose or reveal his or her preference for a particular good for a particular time period until and unless he feels that he should not reveal his preference for that particular good. For example, if we take the example of a hand wash, a person using a Dettol hand wash will continue to prefer Dettol hand wash. However, good presentation is being done for a Lifebuoy hand wash. Okay, so this is about the revealed preference theory, which is often known for a particular good, only one good. Okay. Now, the pure theory of public expenditure is given by Paul A. Samuelson, and the revealed preference theory also was given by Paul A. Samuelson. When we go into the theory concept, in 1954, Samuelson gave a remarkable presentation and published a paper on the pure theory of public expenditure, whereby he formalized the concept of public goods, which he called the collective consumption goods also. Okay, the idea of these collective consumption goods is, we know, we have already studied that they are non-excludable and non-rivalable. Now, if we see the concept of excludability and rivalry, we see that excludability means the ability of producer to exclude some of the consumers because they are non-compensating. Okay, they are not compensating to the cost of that particular good. For example, a highway is only a highway is mentioned for only four-wheeler cars and not for two-wheelers. So this is exclusion, which is only possible for a private commodity which is made by a private player, okay, or a corporate giant. And rivalry, we all know that rivalry is the inability of consumers to choose more goods. Okay, if they are choosing one good, then they choose only that good. Okay, so this is rivalry, and there is a lot of competitiveness in the market due to which rivalry of private goods happen. Public goods do not have both of these. Another point of private goods is that they have revealed preference, which Samuelson said. So Samuelson stated in the theory that there is no revealed preference of public goods. Why? Because if a public good is being served, for example, if bus services by the government are served in a city, so what will happen is that a person will not reveal his preference for that bus service. Instead, he will say what? Due to the bandwagon effect, he will say, or or if he wants to show his status, he will say that no, I'll prefer a car, I'll prefer a two-wheeler, but not a bus service. However, if in reality he uses that bus service, the demand for that bus service will not be known because he has already not revealed his preference for the bus service. So, Samuelson stated in this theory the problem of the preference related to the public goods and the problem of demand arising due to that. So, the government or the people or the public goods which are being provided to us, there is always a wide gap between the demand for the public goods and the actual consumption level of these goods. And this has to be filled, which was given by the pure theory of public expenditure by Samuelson. So this theory was totally mathematical, and I am easing out the whole theory just for the basic understanding of this theory. Now, concept of market failure of free riding. This means what I said right now, that due to the status or due to this effect, people do not reveal their preference for the public goods. They instead say that no, we use the private goods, but actually they are using the public goods. So this reduces the market failure of free riding. Now the concept also has already discussed revealed preference for individuals for private goods and collective usage of public goods. So the conclusion of the whole theory was to What did the theory say? The pricing system. Now the pricing system, that is the government pricing system for the public goods, cannot enforce the consumers to reveal their demand because of the problem of reveal preference for the public goods. So it cannot reveal the demand for purely non-excludable goods, and non-excludable goods कौन से होते हैं? The public goods. Okay? And so cannot force the producers to meet the demand. तो producers को पता ही नहीं चलता कि कितना public goods बनाना है और consumers use नहीं कर पाते. So basically there is a wide gap. And second concept was need for political or governmental interference. When we talk about the private goods, the private players or the corporate giants will produce the private goods and go market में देख लेंगे, due to by filling questionnaires or by the various marketing strategies, वो ये पता कर पाएंगे कि कैसे हम मार्केट में डिमांड क्रिएट कर सकते हैं for the private goods. However, government or political interference will be needed for the consumption as well as production of the public goods. So these were the twofold concepts of the theory. Now moving on, due to the theory, one concept arrived due to this theory, which was of social cost benefit analysis. Why? Because अगर हम रिवील नहीं कर पा रहे तो हमें इस तरह से पब्लिक गुड्स को प्लान करना पड़ेगा so that there is some amount of social advantage attached to it. Now, what is social cost benefit analysis? The social cost benefit analysis of anything is associated with its social impact, meaning that we will calculate the benefits and the costs associated with a project. For example, Bhopal में अभी ब्रिज बन रहा है. Okay, so it is under construction. I will come over to this example again, but just for the reminding of you about the project. So government ने क्या क्या सोचा होगा इसके बारे में, कितनी cost incur होगी और कितना benefit आएगा. So and how much social benefit will be attached to that whole project. Okay. Again, social cost benefit analysis is part of calculating the merits of the project. Obviously, because ये social advantage के लिए बनाया गया project है by the public or the private players. Now, we should understand one thing that इसका scope जो है ये twofold है. Meaning that public players भी हैं यहाँ पे और private players भी हैं, government भी है और corporate giants भी हैं. However, social cost benefit analysis is most often used in terms of the public players because they have the motive of welfare. Okay, and only after calculating the whole benefit cost incidence, the project will be termed as feasible or not feasible. Okay. Okay. Now I gave the example of construction of a bridge or a flyover. Now there are a few questions attached to this particular project. How much traffic will it be diverting? How much cost will it be taking for the producers of this and for the consumers? मतलब कि कितना पेट्रोल आने जाने, ऐसा तो नहीं है कि नॉर्मल रास्ते से कम पेट्रोल लगता है और फ्लाईओवर से ज़्यादा पेट्रोल लग रहा है. ऐसा तो नहीं है कि ये नॉर्मल रास्ता शॉर्ट अच्छा था, साफ सुथरा था and this one is now not working for the consumers living in that area. Also, कौन से benefits सोचे होंगे that the people living in that area, are they having any problem of sound pollution or air pollution due to the flyover that has been made over their houses? ऐसा तो नहीं है कि कोई मकान तोड़े गए हैं उसका और if they have been rehabilitated, have they been rehabilitated in a good place? All these questions are related to the social cost benefit analysis. I have taken one case study of the Rajiv Gandhi Sea Link, which is in Mumbai. It is also called the Bandra-Worli Sea Link. Now, this is a flyover over the sea, constructed over the sea, joining one place Bandra to the another place Worli. Okay. Now, the whole length of this was 6 kilometers. Total length of the flyover is 6 kilometers, and total net worth of the project was 16 billion rupees. So we can assume, we can see that how much money has to go in a public project. However, this was a PPP project. Still, there was 51% partnership of the public enterprises, and that is why they had to pay more. So there was definitely a social cost benefit analysis. I will just give one example of what kind of social cost benefit analysis was there. Now there is a toll between the Bandra-Worli ceiling. Okay, the average cost of traveling the ceiling of a petrol car or a diesel car is worth 65 rupees. Okay, the toll on average is 25 rupees to 40 rupees. Okay, as per the car, there are different kinds of tolls. Okay, now there is also variation. Only 4-wheelers or big vehicles can go through the ceiling and not the 2-wheelers, because it was majorly made for the diversion of major traffic, and so it did. So feasibility of the project ऐसे पता चलती है. अगर ऐसा होता ना, टोल क्यों लिया जाता है? Because they have to redeem the cost which was put into the project. ठीक है, अगर टोल ही ज़्यादा होता, मतलब कॉस्ट बहुत ज़्यादा लग जाती और टोल 120, 150 ऐसा होता और ट्रैवल कॉस्ट जस्ट 60 रुपीज़ होती, तो उल्टा हो जाता. Your traveling cost is half the cost you pay for the toll, so it was meaningless to, and the feasibility of the project was nothing. So that is why this was not the case, and so the social cost benefit analysis की एक major case study है कि this was, and also this added to the beauty of the whole Mumbai territory, and that is why social cost, travelers, they usually come there, they pay the toll tax just to travel the ceiling area. So yeah. Now also one thing related to the social cost benefit analysis is to check the alternative choices. Now अगर गवर्नमेंट ने ये सोचा कि मुझे इस एरिया में स्कूल बनाना चाहिए या हॉस्पिटल बनाना चाहिए, किसकी फीजिबिलिटी ज़्यादा है? दोनों सोशल कॉस्ट बेनिफिट के ही हैं. Both are giving social benefits to people, but are there any children in that area कि उनको स्कूल से फायदा मिलेगा या हॉस्पिटल ज़्यादा होने चाहिए? This alternative choice is done in the social cost benefit analysis. The scope I have already told कि public enterprises को इसलिए scope है इसका because they yearn for welfare of the people, and private enterprises why? Because social cost benefit analysis is important as the private investment are to be approved by various government organization या quasi government organization. So in all वो government पे ही आता है. And finally the importance of social cost benefit analysis, first of all savings and investment. If you are doing such a huge project, if you are investing in such a huge project, automatically लॉन्ग रोड से जाने का, फॉर एग्जाम्पल जैसे हमने एग्जाम्पल लिया बैंड्रा-वर्ली सीलिंग का, तो there was a total savings of money in the terms of कि जो लॉन्ग रूट से जाने की बजाय हम सीलिंग से चले गए या हाईवे से चले गए या फ्लाईओवर से चले गए, तो देयर वाज अ सेविंग इन द मनी, इन द एनर्जी, इन द पेट्रोल, इन द डीजल. ओके, सो social cost benefit analysis should be such that such projects or such investment should take place जो enhance करे consumer की savings को. Now we know कि real preference public goods में नहीं होता है, and that is why we should enhance the merits or enhance the savings of the consumers by making investments in such projects. Next is distribution and redistribution of income. Definitely such projects should be made कि इनकम का डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन फ्यू हैंड्स में ना होकर ज़्यादा हैंड्स में जाए, या वेलफेयर ऑफ द पीपल फ्यू लोगों के हाथ में ना होकर ज़्यादा लोगों के हाथ में जाए. ठीक है, हम फ्लाईओवर या ऐसी चीज़ें बनाते हैं, इट्स ओके, बट यू कैन सी ब्रिजेस और थिंग्स लाइक न्यू ऑन टेक्नोलॉजी, यू बिल्ड दैट because you yearn for better or developed economy. However, or dams. सबसे अच्छा एग्जाम्पल आई थिंक कॉस्ट बेनिफिट एनालिसिस का डैम्स है. यू हैव टू reallocate the whole basti, the whole area, the whole village, and where do you put them? So this is the thing to ponder about, that how are you going to redistribute the income generated by a project whereby you are already relocating some people और उनको कहाँ पे allocate कर रहे हैं जहाँ पे they don't have any facility, they don't have basic amenities. So this is wrong, and this should be taken into consideration because this is one of the concept of social cost benefit analysis. Next is employment and standard of living. Now definitely अगर कोई प्रोजेक्ट बनता है तो वहाँ पे लेबर एंगेज होता है and their employment employment skills will be checked, their standard of living will be enhanced, but just for a while. So project ऐसा हो कि labor should be engaged but for a longer period of time, या फिर ऐसा हो जिसमें उनकी employability skills enhance हो and they can get employment opportunity in some other place also, not just seasonal employment. The fourth is externalities. Externalities both टाइप की होती है, पॉजिटिव भी होती है, नेगेटिव भी होती है. पॉजिटिव ये हो सकता है जैसे हमने डिस्कस किया कि ट्रैवलिंग टाइम बच गया. नेगेटिव ये हो सकता है कि पोल्यूशन बढ़ गया और नॉइज पोल्यूशन बढ़ गया, किसी भी टाइप का पोल्यूशन बढ़ गया. तो एक्सटर्नलिटीज ऐसी होगी, पॉजिटिव ज़्यादा हो, नेगेटिव कम हो, तो उससे भी सोशल कॉस्ट जो होगी वो कम होगी, सोशल बेनिफिट ज़्यादा होगा. And taxes and subsidies. Now taxes and subsidies is not actually directly related to the social cost benefit analysis, but yeah, जो भी taxes raise होते हैं, the revenue raised by the project, जो भी expenditure हुआ, तो उससे taxes raise होंगे obviously because they have to redeem the cost of the project. लेकिन इतने भी high ना हो कि they cannot allocate this amount for subsidies. तो taxes इतने high ना हो कि subsidies की जो cost है वो कम करनी पड़े उनको and बहुत लोगों का नुकसान होता है. This was all about the social cost benefit analysis.